What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Sam the Beard Guy channel. So let's talk about the new Keyscape double felt piano and compare it to the Noire and the Spitfire felt, specifically the Olafur Arnalds one. Those are the two felts that I've found myself using the most of, and so now that Keyscape has a double felt, that's already made its way into kind of my normal felt piano rotation. So I want to compare these three and just see how they stack up. They are all very different. So I noodled for a second and they're very different. And so I want to talk about those. As always, like, sub, share, comment, all the things you can do to help grow the channel would be awesome. Yeah, Keyscape. This one like feels, full. It actually sounds a lot different than Noire. So if we get into Noire for a second and kind of compare this, Noire feels a lot less like low, mid, heavy, and so. And that's kind of the out-of-the-box setting. We can probably... Yeah, that one feels great too. So I compare that to Keyscape. Very different tone, right? So the different, I can't say like one is better than the other. Keyscape is very more like just low, mid kind of world. Or Noire's kind of got that more open felt. It almost feels like it's not as felty. And so it kind of feels a little brighter, a little bit more open. That doesn't make it better or worse. I have found with some felts, it's like, hey, I don't like the super, like, just big, round sound that a felt can sometimes have. I kind of like that more narrow, crisp felt. And so I think Noire, better than any other library, nails that type of felt sound down, which is the kind of narrower, crispier felt. Oh, scales, I love them. So very different. I love both. They're not any better than the other. I just love both. So let's get over into the Spitfire world here. This is the Olafur Arnalds one. So the Spitfire one's a lot closer to, I think, Keyscape, and it's kind of that darker, just more muddier, mid-low type of felt. So, I think the cool thing with the Olafur Arnalds one is the different mic things you can do. So I can mix that in. So Olafur Arnalds is, I mean, he's awesome. So this piano is definitely, in his world, a great reproduction of kind of his sound and a lot of the cool things he's done. And so, again, I don't think this one's any better or worse. It's just kind of a different sound. That's the cool thing about these fours. They really do all feel different. You can kind of get lost in the weeds on some of these pianos of like, what do they really do that's different? These three at least do feel a lot different, and so kind of to each their own on what you want to use. PianoTeq, let's get in here. Let's just do, let's kind of keep it, I think, close to. Let's kind of wear this thing out a little bit, Let's see, what am I missing in here? Let's see if I can find a better one that's a little bit closer. This is kind of different. Maybe it's a little closer on this one. See if I can get a closer one. Maybe this is closer. Let's wear this thing out a little bit. Go away. I'm not gelling with these felts as much. Which I know I'm probably not. Yeah, so I don't really use the PianoTeq Felts a lot. I'm not really comfortable with them, and I can't get them sounding quite the way I'd want to. You know, I wish they kind of had just a felt setting that was just default felt setting, because it feels like there's quite a bit of stuff done to them already. And I wish that, you know, they kind of came in a little bit worn out, because mint almost never sounds good. So I know a lot of people swear by the PianoTeq Felt. I don't really vibe with it as much, but that's just, you know. I'm sure if you got in here and kind of changed some of the stuff, you could get it dialed in, but I'm not feeling this one as much. But that's not a knock on PianoTeq. I love all their other stuff, so this is just the Felts in particular I'm not really kind of like vibing with at all. But all right, so let's talk UIs real quick. You know, I'm really kind of judging these pianos based off of what they can do, the way they sound. I'm not as concerned with the user interfaces and all the settings you can change, but it is at least worth talking about it a little bit. So with the Keyscape Double Felt and all the Double Felt settings, you know, you get your main settings here. You can change pedal noise and stuff. EQ is kind of the same. You can denoise. In my last video, I was getting asked about some noise. Keyscape can be a little noisy, but that's why you have these denoise settings, so you can change that. So don't let that be a negative against the piano. You got your typical feel as far as attack, and then your typical kind of timbre settings. Yeah, so it's Keyscape has always kind of been less customability, but they give you a ton of presets, and they're all really well done. So I've never loaded up Keyscape and been like, I wish I had more like customability. That's kind of what the library is. Like with the C7, you know, I have enough presets to kind of get what I want. So I'm happy with what feels like an appropriate amount of settings. It's not a ton. It's not a ton compared to Noire. So Noire, with a lot of the, you know, kind of native instruments pianos, they kind of have the same features that you can tweak. You know, anatomy, noises, tone. You get your color, tonal shift, dynamic range, which Keyscape kind of has. This is just a little bit more in depth. It's got your low keys and your sub boost that you can do. You know, you got some of this, which again you can do in Keyscape too. You kind of get your stereo image. I don't think you can do that in Keyscape. So this is one thing that is kind of nice, is you can change your stereo image. You can do noise and change like the pianist volumes, like the bench volume, like bench squeaking and stuff. So that's a cool thing that, you know, Keyscape doesn't offer. However, what I've done in the past and what I would do if I really wanted these features, I would just record like Keyscape and then record Noire on a second MIDI channel and change everything to like 0 velocity, and those noises would still come through. And so there's ways to kind of cheat and get these noises onto another piano if you wanted to. So that's not really a plus to me to have these features, but they are there if you wanted to use them. They are definitely there if you want to use them live. You wouldn't be able to do that kind of cheating live, or you wouldn't want to at least. Particle engine, I don't ever use. I don't want to say it's stupid. It's just not in my wheelhouse. So, and then reverbs are the same as every other library. I have the same thing. I just don't use them. I use my own. Again, if you're resource, hungry, you can use them in here, but I just don't usually use these. So a little bit more customability from Noire, but again, that's part of the features of the library. I wouldn't even say it's a pro or a con. It just kind of is what it is. And then we'll go over to the Olafur Arnalds. As far as UI, this is definitely the worst UI of the three. Again, I never want to judge a library on its just look, because once you get used to it, it doesn't matter how it looks anymore. And so, but this is definitely the one that takes a little bit getting used to. It's definitely I would argue the least customizable. But again, it sounds amazing. And so the UI thing is only just an observation. It's not a negative thing. It's just they all kind of offer different things you can tweak, and depending on how much you don't like or do like that, that is kind of what it is. So I don't think any one of these UIs or any of the features that they offer make it stand out above the other two. It's just these are just kind of They are what they are. They offer what they offer. I think all three of these libraries are top-notch felts. And then we'll also take a look at the PianoTeq Felt. This thing sounds great. They have a few different felts. We'll kind of breeze through those, but they have the YC5, the K2, and the U4. And so we'll go through these as well. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll start with Keyscape. I'm just going to noodle some. And then, we'll make our thoughts at the end. So those are the four felts. Specifically, I guess the three felts. I use Spitfire, Noire, and Keyscape the most, and then PianoTeq, I use their pianos quite a bit. I just haven't done a lot of felt stuff with them. But as far as like, PianoTeq being what it is, Keyscape, Noire, and Spitfire, they're all just different. So I think Keyscape and Spitfire are closer. Kind of that low MIDI, not MIDI, but like mid frequency range. And then Noire is kind of this like kind of less bassy, less mid frequency, a lot more bright and clearer of a sound. And so, there's neither one of those is right or wrong. It's just preference. And I honestly can't say that, they're better than the other one. I mean, if I wanted a real, like low, full, like felt sound, I might go for Keyscape or Spitfire. If I wanted something a little more, clear and bright and more present and crystal, I might go with the Noire, or I, would go with the Spitfire one because I wanted something. I don't know. I mean, they're all they all are great. They just do their own thing. They just do it differently. And so, those are Keyscape, Noire, Spitfire, and Piano. I felt like I wasn't fair enough to PianoTeq. They have a great product. I just don't use their felts enough to like feel comfortable with them, but I wanted to try to throw them in here. So PianoTeq's great. It is a happy addition to my piano library world. I just don't use the felts a ton, which is 3% of what they offer. So that's not a knock on PianoTeq. So hope y'all like this. Like, sub, comment, share, anything you can do to help grow the channel. And I will see y'all later.